well as on YouTube, facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, also being shared on facebook.com/livenowdt, and of course here on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Very honored and privileged to have you hanging out with us on the broadcast, and also on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt where you're listening, and on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage. We have a little bit of a switch to this week's schedule, so we are typically having the Fantasy Football Extended Power Hour coming to you every Wednesday, starting at 9:45 and ending around 11. And this week we changed it up a little bit here, and we have brought you the Fantasy Football Power Hour today on my birthday. Selfishly, I just wanted Mike Sofka to be hanging out with me on my birthday, since we've known each other for years and had a friendship of over a decade now, 11 years at least at this point. So very excited to have Mr. Sofka here on the show, and happy to help you through your fantasy football thoughts and desires and trade things that are going on and all of that. And so a lot of great stuff to talk about here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Fantasy Football Power Hour, proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub. We'll run you to about 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time today, and then we'll jump into hour number 2 with Eric Kroom, Syracuse Orange and NFL defensive line alum, who's going to be bringing us through his thoughts on the current state of Syracuse football and everything moving forward from here. So very excited to be speaking with him today, and very excited to be speaking with you. So with that being said, let's bring in Mr. Sofka so we could speak with him. Mike, how are we doing today?
Great. Happy birthday, Dan.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that very, very much so, and I hope you're holding down my my second home of the great state of Florida. Well, I find it interesting this week that, as this is my birthday week, and today's my birthday, October 21st, that as we start off the NFL Week 7, I looked at the bye week, and both of my teams are off. So there's this side where people can say, well, that sucks. You're a Jaguars and Cowboys fan, and you don't get to see either one of your teams on your birthday week. But I look at it glass half full. Now I don't have to see either one of my teams lose. So my teams will be undefeated in my birthday week. So glass half full, Mike, I guess I can be proud of the fact
birthday week last week and had Atlanta and the Jets as your favorite team. So
yeah, and the Jaguars, I jokingly said that they were going to have to get their first win, and then they went overseas to get their first win. They broke a 20-game losing streak to finally get their first dub, and first win for Trevor Lawrence, first rookie quarterback to ever win in a game in London, and Urban Meyer's first win as an NFL head coach.
Yeah, 53-yard field goal to end the game, and new kicker Wright got Lambeau basically cut from the team with that finish. But I could see the smoke coming out of Shad Khan's ears and decisions in the game. But it all came out in a wash, and of course they're still dealing and reeling with the situations involving Urban Meyer and his off-the-field activities. So, it was good for the team. They're no longer winless on the season, but hopefully they can build on this. Hopefully Trevor Lawrence can take what he learned from that game and continue to build and grow.
Yeah, and that's the hope that Trevor Lawrence is going to be able to move forward from this. You finally got the monkey off your back. You got that first win in, and now you can focus on just playing football, playing free. That first moment is now, it's through, it's done, they've succeeded, and now they could see what they could be from here. So I'm happy that they broke the streak, and a horrible streak to have, and I'm happy that they're moving forward, hopefully in the right direction for these Jacksonville Jaguars. And to look at Thursday, Mike, here coming up, a lot of conversation this week about what this game is. Baker Mayfield, he had come out with his arm in a sling and had said he was going to try to play through it, and he was going to try and find a way, and now, that's not going to happen. We're looking at the fact that Case Keenum will get another shake at another team. He's had some success with the Texans, had some success, obviously, with the Minnesota Vikings. And here he is taking over. Teddy Bridgewater's been banged up as well on the other side of things. So, we're looking at the fact that, the Broncos and the Browns, both playing on Thursday night against one another, are not in the best place that you would want to be as an NFL franchise. What's your take on the opening game of this week?
Yeah, I'm confused because I'm still looking at the lines on this game, and it shows Cleveland as a 2-point favorite. I know they're playing in Cleveland, but I'm looking at both quarterbacks here, and who would I rather have, Teddy Bridgewater or Case Keenum? That's close. But I think looking at the running back situation, well, the running back situation isn't as good for Cleveland as it is Denver. So jumping into my rankings here, I got Teddy Bridgewater at 18 on my ranking. This ranking only goes to 30 with a couple backups on here because of the 6 teams on a bye. So I got Teddy Bridgewater at 18, Case Keenum at 21. So that's kind of close. The biggest difference for me is the fact that we're not going to have a Kareem Hunt. We're not going to have a Nick Chubb. And I'm looking at this, and Dearness Johnson, he's filled in capably in the past, so I got him at 16. He seems to be the guy. Demetric Felton, to a lesser extent, is going to see some time, the rookie will. But the running backs for Denver are going to kind of cannibalize each other in this game. I think it's going to be almost an even 50-50 split with Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams at 23 and 24, respectively, on my rankings. Looking at the wide receiver, this is another big difference. Now, they're saying Jarvis Landry could be back for this game, but he's coming off that knee injury. Donovan Peoples-Jones looked good last week. 4 catches, over 100 yards, including a Hail Mary at the end of the first half. So, I think there's some confidence there, but it's a different quarterback now, so it's anybody's game. And looking at Denver, Cortland Sutton's where it's going to be. I know Jerry Jeudy's trying to get back as well. But Cortland Sutton, I got him ranked number 6 this week. I think he's going to see the larger share of the targets. But my concern is the defensive line for the Browns versus the offensive line for the Broncos. Are they going to be able to keep Teddy Bridgewater upright? Is he going to go through another concussion? What's the situation there? So Cortland Sutton's the biggest value so far. And then Noah Fant as well. Noah Fant, number 7 on my rankings, going down. Has been waning, and again, the biggest difference for me is the defense. I got Cleveland as a top 10 defense this week, but Denver's not far behind at 13 on my rankings. I usually don't give out all the defensive rankings because those are a different beast in its own. But just to give you an idea of where I feel I'm at, I'm going to go with the Broncos on the road tonight because I just don't. I want to believe in Case Keenum. I have positive thoughts for him, but I just think the Broncos are a better team coming into this.
Yeah, Case Keenum's not a quarterback. I think that people need to understand and realize that he really isn't by any stretch of the imagination. Dearness Johnson, Johnny asked the question who the running backs be. So, and welcome to the show, Mr. Johnny. And, but for me, it's tough. Cleveland's been through a lot. And I really don't feel like it's a good fit anymore to have Odell Beckham Jr. And so they're going to have to figure out what they're going to do with that situation. But there's also the notion of, will he do well with this quarterback? Could he do well with a different quarterback? Could Keenum be the whisperer for Odell? And so, I know that if that doesn't happen, that maybe the whisperer for him is, maybe somewhere in this NFL world there is a kicking net waiting for him to, whisper in his ear those sweet nothings that he's needed to hear this time. But, ultimately, for me, this game, Denver is one of those teams that I kind of just feel the sense I want to root for them. Cortland Sutton is a guy that I covered in college, as I mentioned a bunch with SMU. I like what Jerry Jeudy, has done. I know that he's hurt. Tim Patrick stepped up in a big way. Noah Fant starting to show himself finally. Javonte Williams I covered in college. So, this Broncos team gives me some excitement. They really do. And, but I think as far as fantasy-wise this week, the value is with Javonte Williams and, Melvin Gordon. I would say Melvin Gordon's a flex. Javonte is a running back 2. Cortland Sutton is a low-end 1, high-end 2 at wide receiver. I would say Tim Patrick is a low-end 2 at receiver. Noah Fant, I put him as a mid-range to low-end 1. He was cleared to play in this game, so that's a good thing to see. So I do think there's a bunch of fantasy value, and I like Teddy Bridgewater. What I don't like is the fact that they're already talking about Teddy not being on the team anymore. I mean, this guy resurrected his career in New Orleans, and now everybody's talking about how he's already done. You know, he was done in Carolina without 365 days. Now they're saying, oh, he's already going to be done here in Denver. You know, is Denver going to make that push for Aaron Rodgers? And so, you know, it's hard for me to take it in. I don't think it's fair to Teddy, but, you know, this is how discussions happen, and people are consistently talking about, you know, where's Aaron Rodgers going to go? Where's Desean Watson going to go? And, you know, I'm focusing on the here and now, and the here and now is that Denver has some talent, and Johnny wants him in Detroit. And Teddy Bridgewater, another guy covered in college when he was at Louisville before Lamar Jackson. So, you know, there's a lot of value there, but, you know, as much as I talk about Teddy fantasy-wise, I would say no. Case Keenum, I think he's going to put up some numbers. I really do. If you could play 2 quarterbacks in your league and you kind of sneak one in, Case Keenum's the guy to have. And so if you can have 2. But if he's your one, then that's a no from me. Dearness Johnson, that's nothing. I mean, if you want to, if you're in an emergency situation in a deep league and you got to pick up a starting running back and you don't know where to go, then you could look to this, because I would imagine that they're going to do that. But I also think they're going to throw the ball here. So I really don't see a lot of fantasy value on the side of Cleveland. I really don't see any. The majority, to me, is on Denver's side. And with Denver having the value there with Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb both out, I know that Cleveland is at home, yet I'm going to pick the Denver Broncos in this one to get the dub. Washington at Green Bay, Mike, what do you have to start off Sunday?
Yeah, this is an interesting game for me. I'm looking at the Packers at home. They usually don't lose at home. They're off to a tremendous start this year. And we just found out after last week's game in Chicago that Aaron Rodgers is part owner of the Chicago Bears. I had no idea. So if you look at the quarterbacks on this situation, just there, you know who's the better man on the field. Aaron Rodgers, future Hall of Famer, number 7 on the rankings. And, you know, as much as Ryan Fitzpatrick is trying to come back, looks like they're going to be staying with Taylor Heineke. He's at number 15 on my rankings. And in the running back, they got the better running back, too. Aaron Jones, possibly one of the top running backs in the league. Top 5 definitely this week. He's number 3 on my rankings. J.D. Mckissick, I think, is going to get the lion's share of the carries today if Antonio Gibson does, in fact, suit up. Antonio Gibson's going through microfractures in his shins. He's been playing through it, but he had some difficulty in the last game. So a heads-up play, especially for daily fantasy players. Watch the injury report. There's a good possibility you can pick up a dirt cheap J.D. Mckissick and or Jarrett Patterson tonight. I think if Antonio Gibson doesn't make this start, I think Jared Patterson's going to see a lot of the between the tackles, a lot of the running, the carries and so forth. I think J.D. Mckissick is the guy for more of the targets. Looking at the wide receivers, this is where there's a tremendous drop-off. You got Devontae Adams at 3. There's a tremendous drop-off on his team. You got Terry McLaurin at 10. Then there's a tremendous drop-off on the team. So those are the 2 guys of note for this game tonight in wide receiver. And Ricky Seals-Jones has been coming on strong here since Logan Thomas is out. As long as Logan Thomas is out, it looks like Ricky Seals-Jones is going to flourish in that role. I got Ricky Seals-Jones at number 10. And the problem with Green Bay is, where's Robert Tonyan gone? He used to be an automatic guy in the red zone and in the end zone. But this is a situation that hasn't really come to life yet this year. I'm interested to see if that can. But right now I got Robert Tonyan at 18 on the rankings here. This is going to be a good game. I think it might be closer than the 7.5-point spread it is right now. But I'm going to go with Green Bay at home.
Yeah, you know, I mean, Washington is one of those teams that you really don't know what they're going to be. You don't know what they're going to do. You don't know what their record's going to be at the end of all things. You know, they're one of those teams that Washington's team. Taylor Heineke is not a bad quarterback. Remember what he did in playoffs in very, very recent history here. Antonio Gibson, shin injury, did not practice, is questionable to play. You have to watch that, like Mike talked about Jared Patterson and J.D. McKissick. Terry McLaurin didn't practice with a hamstring injury. That's a nagging thing as well. They're dealing with a lot of injuries to their wide receivers, just like Cleveland. Curtis Samuel is also hurt with a groin injury. Two nagging injuries you don't want to have. A groin for Curtis Samuel and a hamstring for Terry McLaurin, especially for wide receivers and running backs and whatnot. So Ricky Seals-Jones is hurt as well. Logan Thomas is hurt. Dylan Cantrell is hurt. So John Bates and maybe Jace Sternberger could be the tight ends for Washington. So, you thought after the days of everything that they had dealt with Old Man River in Washington that they wouldn't have to deal with injuries as much with Jordan Reed leaving. But, as of right now, there's not a lot of value on Washington's team due to all these injuries. J.D. McKissick is a flex. Antonio Gibson, monitor that and see where he's at come game day. But on the other side of it, Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones, Devontae Adams, Robert Tonyan, all worth the play for you. This is a team that has a bunch of fantasy value as of right now. And, Alan Lazard and Randall Cobb and, and so on and so forth. These guys are very low, like Mike said, the drop-off there on the totem pole. And A.J. Dillon, too. Not a ton to write home about on a guy I really liked coming out of Boston College a couple of years ago. So is the victory, in my opinion. Next one up, Mr. Sofka, we have KC at Tennessee. Kansas City lost to Buffalo. Then Tennessee beat Buffalo. Now they get to play each other. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think this could be almost like one of those things like you see in college football where a team will have a surprising victory over a team they shouldn't have beat. Then the following week is a letdown game where they lose to a team they should have beat. So, but this one's at home in Tennessee. I'm really excited to see this game because of the dynamics in here. And you start with the quarterback. And I say quarterback, not quarterbacks, because it's Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes. And in answer to your question on the on your Facebook page, I would rather have Patrick Mahomes over Aaron Rodgers just for what he can do and where he in his career. I think he can surpass what Aaron Rodgers has been able to accomplish, if you can believe that, in his career. But this week I got Patrick Mahomes at number 1, and I got Ryan Tannehill at number 10 because I think this could almost be a shootout. I don't think it's going to be a get carried away shootout, but it can be. I got the running back. I said the running back, just like I said with the quarterback before, Derrick Henry. This guy's a beast. Every time I turn around, he's running for a touchdown. He's trucking somebody. He's getting an angry run. So this is definitely a guy that I like to have, and he's number 1. And Daryl Williams has been doing a pretty good job recently filling in for Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He's at number 11 this week, and then there's a drop-off after that pretty much. And then there's a drop here at wide receiver too, but the reason is these guys are really good. Tyreek Hill, again, tops on my ranking list this week. Tyreek Hill, number 1, and A.J. Brown not far behind at number 7. And again, there's a big drop-off. Julio Jones struggling to come back. He's dealing with a hamstring injury. It just feels like he's not even on the field this year. So if you have Julio Jones, of course, just I'm sorry that you have Julio Jones this year, and just go ahead and make other arrangements. And looking at the tight end situation, again, boom, way up there on the top. Travis Kelce, I got ranked. And you have to go down a little further. Anthony Firkser at number 17 on my ranking. So just looking at the players and where I have them ranked, all the better players are indeed as a team on Kansas City side. I know they're playing in Tennessee. I know Tennessee's coming off that win. I know they beat Buffalo, and I know Buffalo beat the Chiefs. But I'm going with the Chiefs on the road.
Yeah, in the Chiefs, I think Buffalo, very strong team. Tennessee is one of those teams, and Jacksonville could tell you all about it. They're just pesky. They stick with you. They constantly are a pain in the butt. And that doesn't go away, and good morning to Brad, and how are you doing, sir? So, I think when it comes down to it, am I surprised that the Titans beat the Bills? Yes, in the fact of how the Bills are playing this year, and I'm more excited about them than maybe ever. But no, in the sense that Tennessee is one of those teams that just they're in games that people don't think they're supposed to be in. You know, Tennessee is just, they're a thorn in the side a lot. Expected to come back until week 9, a couple weeks from now. Daryl Williams, the starter, Jerick McKinnon. If you know anything about me, I don't draft Jerick McKinnon. And the reason why I don't draft Jerick McKinnon is because I don't want to deal with injuries. And the one time I drafted Jerick McKinnon, he went out for the season. Right after our draft ended, I looked up at the screen, and they said he was out for the year. So Daryl Williams, flex guy for you, maybe a running back 3 or 4. Pat Mahomes, obviously your starter. Shout out to my guy, Dad Henne, that I spent time with in Jacksonville. Happy to see that he's still there on this Chiefs team. Tyreek Hill is questionable with a quad injury. If he's able to go, then put him out there, obviously. And then limited in practice with a neck injury, Travis Kelce. If he's able to go, put him out there. McCall Hardman, I like him in this game as a sneaky flex play. So that's just a little nugget for you. The Tennessee Titans, Ryan Tannehill, if he's your starting quarterback, no slouch. Mike and I ranked him in the top 10 at the beginning of the year. I don't think he's a bad quarterback to put out there, especially with a bunch of teams on bye this week. I do like Ryan Tannehill. Obviously, Pat Mahomes more, but I do like Tannehill. Derrick Henry is an obvious starter. A.J. Brown and Julio Jones every week we see that little medical, cross in the red box next to their name here, unfortunately. A.J. dealing with an illness, and Julio Jones, like you said, dealing with a hamstring. Watch those two. Everybody else is not a household name on this team. Racing McMath, Cameron Batson, Josh Reynolds, Marcus Johnson, Nick Westbrook, and Chester Rogers. None of those household names. Jeff Swaim on this team, not a lot of involvement. Anthony Ferkser only had 1 target. I thought that he would do a little bit more now that he is the guy. But really, the value's in Derrick Henry and then Ryan Tannehill. Tennessee is sneaky. Tennessee is tough. But do I think Tennessee is going to beat the 2 top teams in the AFC, in my opinion, back-to-back? I'm going to say no. I'm going to pick the Chiefs on the road. Next one that we have up here is looking at Atlanta and Miami. What do you have for this?
Yeah, old man Ryan still seems to be getting it done. Matty Ice, I got him ranked number 11 this week. And Tua had a strong day against the Jaguars. I think he threw for almost 350 yards, 325 yards, 329, I think it was, 2 touchdowns. He had 1 pick, and he just coming off injury. I thought he looked okay against a vulnerable Jacksonville defense, but I'm not sure that I'm really heavily invested in either one of these guys if I'm playing daily. Looking at the running backs, I'm real disappointed in Myles Gaskin. He's got like 176 yards on the year. He's got 2 touchdowns, both of them in 1 game against, Tampa in that high-scoring game. So I'm looking at Myles Gaskin. Something's got to give. Something's got to happen. Is this the week he makes it happen? I'm not sure. So I got him ranked at 21. And then Atlanta has the opposite problem. They got a wide receiver playing running back. He's doing awesome. Cordero Patterson. I got him at number 8 on my running back rankings. And take advantage of that where you can with the buys. If this cat, I know I'm pretty sure in Yahoo he's still eligible for wide receiver and running back. And then looking at the wide receivers here, I got my list mixed up here. Hang on a second here.
No worries.
All right. Here we are. Calvin Ridley's at number 9 on my rankings here. I think Calvin Ridley is due for a strong game. He's due for a come-out game. I'm really excited to see him in this game. And then on Miami, it's like, ho-hum, maybe Jalen Waddle. This guy's come in. I thought he was the best wide receiver in the draft. And this guy's come in and more or less just take it over. He's the guy. Devontae Parker's has been. He's been dinged up. There's nothing really else going on. Nobody can do anything. Well, now that Tua's back and now that Jalen Waddle's back, they'll try to make a game of it tonight. But you got to look at the tight ends, too. In this game, everybody was on Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts was no sleeper this year. Everybody saw him coming. He's the number 4 tight end on my rankings this week. And Mike Gesicki always does a top 10 job. He's at number 6 on my rankings. I know this game's in Miami. It's not going to be hot, though. It's going to be, temperate. It's going to be nice. Not a lot of humidity. Atlanta is looking to bust out. I'm going to go with Atlanta on the road in this one.
Yeah, this it's crazy because the Desean Watson sweepstakes continues. And the conversation of, is he finally going to go to Miami? You know, it's like a will they, won't they. It's like a romantic comedy, will they, won't they. And I'm an hour and 45 minutes in the movie going, just get married. Just do it already. Just, figure it out. And there's all these things around it, and where is he going to end up? And I put a poll up on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, Twitter at Call DT, and Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. In real time now, the poll is 61.3%. Here on Twitter at Call DT. You can follow me there and join my polls here that we have. I got a couple up this morning. Where do you think Desean Watson's going to end up by the trade deadline? 61.3% say Miami, and 30.6% say stay with the Texans. 8.1% said somewhere else. I also asked the question, right now in this moment, who would you rather have as your starting quarterback, Pat Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers? And Mike Sofka just spoke about it a little bit ago. It's now tied 50-50. So it's just tied within the half hour here that Aaron Rodgers, Pat Mahomes was leading, then Aaron, and now it's 50-50. But interesting here to see what you think about these. So make sure you vote in the polls at Wake Up Call DT. Once again, on Facebook at Call DT, on Twitter, and at Wake Up Call _DT on the Instagrams. And so make sure you do that. Back to Atlanta in this game here. Matty Ryan, I like him in this matchup. Haven't heard me say that a lot this season, but I like him in this one. And Mike Davis, meh. So, the running game of Atlanta in the last couple of years has been blah. Devontae Freeman just fell. Tevin Coleman, I don't think that they used as much as they should have. They kind of threw him to the side every time Devontae was good, and I think that affected it, and it affected his fantasy value for sure. And then, Todd Gurley, Mike and I both didn't like that decision for a year in Atlanta. It didn't work. So, Mike Davis, you can do better. Kelvin Ridley, obviously you got to put him out there and give him an opportunity to shine. He's playing Miami. I'm not overly scared of their defense. And then Russell Gage, I would like to think that eventually he's going to show up somewhere, but I think the pecking order is going to be Kelvin Ridley, Kyle Pitts, Russell Gage. Is how it looks right now. Olamide Zaccheaus out of Virginia, like I said, I covered him in college. I'd love to see him step up. But right now, Calvin Ridley has the value. Kyle Pitts is a low-end one, high-end two at tight end, and I like Matt Ryan in the matchup. On the other side of this game for the Miami Dolphins, for me with Miami, Tua coming back, the question is, how long are they staying on Tua? The whole tanking for Tua, wanting to have Tua on the team, and now the thought that they could be letting go of Tua in a trade situation with Desean Watson and Houston is kind of sad to see if that were to happen. And I really like Tua. I like his heritage. I like his faith. And, so there's a lot to Tua that goes beyond just him playing football. So I'd like to see him succeed. In this game, I don't see the fantasy value in it. Myles Gaskin, I would say, is running back 3. Jalen Waddle, I got him on multiple rosters, and he's usually out there for me. So I think he's worthy of being in your wide receiver core to play. And Mike Gesicki, I do like Mike Gesicki as a low-end one. Mike, Atlanta, I feel good about this matchup. Miami, I don't feel so good about it. So I'm going to go with you, and I'm going to pick the Falcons in this game as well. Next one up, the Jets at the Patriots. What do you got?
Yeah, this is a game where you always throw out the records when the Jets and the Patriots get together. And throw out the records is what both teams want to do, with the Jets coming in 1-4 and the Patriots at 2-4. This is a storied rivalry. This is something that's always great. Right now, New England's favored by 7 at home in this. I'm not sure if the game's going to get that far away from the Jets, because the Jets have a pretty good defensive line. Looking at quarterbacks for both of these teams, it's like, both of them are rookies, Mac Jones and Zach Wilson. Mac Jones has been playing better. I think he's in a better situation with Josh McDaniels and Bill Belichick. You seem to be built to take these no-name guys with some skill. And I say no-name because Mac Jones slid all the way to 15 in the draft for the Patriots. But they seem to know how to get him from one step to the next. They don't expect Mac Jones to go up and Brady right away. They're taking him one step at a time, and I think the patience with that. I've seen Belichick at the end of a game a couple games ago not let him go out on the field and all the other people, just all the other players of both teams pulled him by the wrist and just pulled him right to the field. It was obviously an immediate coaching moment there. And then the other side of the ball, though, Zach Wilson, I don't think he's getting that same attention. I don't think he's getting that opportunity. But he's also on the Jets, and they don't have any running backs at all on the roster, I would guess. So Zach Wilson, I got at 25. And what I was just talking about with the running backs, don't start any running backs from the Jets. If you have a starting running back, the only one I would have is Michael Carter because he's got more upside to me. But he's on my bench always, and I'm not counting on playing him at all. But this week, I think he's going to sneak out. So I'm not saying he's a top 10 player. I'm saying he's like a low-end running back 2 for you in an emergency on a bye. So don't go out of your way to try to find him and make him play on your roster this week. That's not a good thing to do. On the other side of the ball, Damien Harris has been battling injury. Look out for Ramondre Stevenson to come out and continue to blow up. But right now, Damien Harris is the guy. I can't rank any of the running backs for New England outside of him. I got Damien Harris at 15. Looking at the wide receivers, again, it's these guys are 25 is where I got Jacoby Myers. I know Kendrick Bourne had the big, long touchdown there. You can't count on a bump in every game from these guys. It's not that easy. Those opportunities don't come around, and then the moon, the stars, and the planets all got to line. That's not always going to happen. So I got Jacoby Myers at 25, and then I got Jameson Crowder and Corey Davis, both at 34 and 35, respectively. And looking at the tight ends, Hunter Henry's been coming on strong lately. I got him at number 8. And I can't really start a Ryan Griffin on the other side or a Tyler Clark. I'm just not even looking at the Jets for a tight end right now. Looking at this game, I think the Patriots are going to win, but I think it's going to be closer than a 7-point spread.
Yeah, this division, when the Patriots were better and Tom Brady was there, these games still were important in how the response came in. From teams like the Jets, they just would find a way, and so I definitely respect that they would be in games and maybe win some games back when it was Belichick and Brady. Now they have a chance to do it on the road without Brady being there. The Jets' value here, what did I tell you? I told you at the beginning of the season Michael Carter would be the starting running back out of North Carolina for the New York Jets. Well, week 7, he's there. So here you go. That's your starter. He is also your best Jet to play. Corey Davis and Jameson Crowder are flex guys if you have an emergency. I'd like to see an emergence of Elijah Moore coming out of Ole Miss. I'm still waiting. I know he's a rookie. It's only 7 weeks in. He's going to have to take some time. And I get that. But Corey Davis, Jameson Crowder, worth the flex. Michael Carter, worth the play in your running back group. He's not a running back 1. He's a low-end 2, high-end 3 right now. As far as the Patriots go, I like Mac Jones in this game. I like him as a quarterback 2, low-end 1, high-end 2, but I do like him in this game for what that's worth. Damien Harris, we look at this, and not on the injury report this week. Like Mike said, he ranks him. Ramondre Stevenson, I would imagine eventually we could see him potentially get some touches here, maybe some meaningful moments, but I don't like the rushing attack for the Patriots. It's not ever been a big thing under Bill Belichick, and when he went and got a first-round pick in Sony Michel and it didn't work out, it's kind of proving Bill right. I could throw anybody in there and run a little bit here and there. So I'm not really sold on any other guys in the receiving core. Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith still haven't separated each other. So really, to me, in this week, the value to me is in Mac Jones. I think the Patriots are going to do enough to win the game, so I'm going to pick the Patriots. But I think the Jets have a little more fantasy value, and maybe their fantasy value is getting a little bit better. But I'm going to pick the Patriots. With that being said, we're going to take a step aside for a fast break here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. and the ticker 315-487-2222 for the Wildcats. So Mike and I will be back after this fast break with plenty more coming to you inside of the Fantasy Football Power Hour as we get you set for Week 7. If you have questions on your team, you know where to send it. Send it right to us instantaneously. We will respond. And, of course, if you're watching this video after the fact that we have gone live, well, you can send us a question and put it in the body here, and we'll be fast to answer that as well. So make sure you do that and join our group on Facebook, Winning Fantasy Football.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, Carvelange, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Cabal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafecabal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Cabal needs. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt, hanging out inside of the Cafe Cabal studios with locations all throughout central and upstate New York, and of course, here with you on Facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, Facebook.com/live-now-DT, where it's shared as well as on our Winning Fantasy Football group. So make sure you check that out and make sure you like pages and do all the good stuff and follow us. Like at Wake Up Call DT on Facebook, Twitter at Call DT, Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT, and you can find Mr. Sofka at Hall of Fame FantasyFootball.com, the Winning Fantasy Football YouTube channel, and our Winning Fantasy Football group once again, just to throw that in there for you one more time. So make sure you check us out there. Mike and I talking about the games of this week in Week 7 of the NFL. The next one that we have up on our docket here is Carolina at the Giants. I like to call this the Kerry Collins Bowl. Kerry Collins was a Carolina Panther, and then he went to the Super Bowl with the New York Giants back when they played the Baltimore Ravens, and Brandon Stokely was a Raven, and Trent Dilfer was his quarterback, and the Ravens won that Super Bowl in a very convincing fashion. Mike, what do you think about the Kerry Collins Bowl, Carolina at the Giants?
Yeah, it's going to be a good game. You know, I know, you know, one team's 3-3, the Panthers, and, you know, you're going into a 1-5 environment with the Giants. But, you know, both these teams have had some problems along the way here with injuries. And most predominantly injuries to the running back. I'll get to that in a second. The quarterback's in this. I like Darnold a little better here, I think. I got Darnold at number 13 on my rankings. I got Daniel Jones right behind him at 14. But if there is an opportunity for one player to overplay the other, I think it's going to be Darnold because, well, DJ Moore's been taken off, and I'll get to that in a second. But what a better backup to have for Christian McCaffrey than Chuba Hubbard. Chuba Hubbard seems to be a guy, if they give him the touches, if he gets the targets, he can mimic kind of what they do, so they don't really miss much of a beat. I got Chuba Hubbard at number 5 on the rankings here. And on the other side, Saquon, I've had an injury. I think they're just delaying the inevitable. I saw when he went over to the sideline and they took off his shoe and cut off his tape and everything, he had a big lump on the side of his ankle. It looked like he ripped all the ligaments out of his ankle, and that's not a good thing. I haven't gotten any updated information other than he's not practicing. So I got Devonte Booker ranked in the 20s. I got him at 25 this week. Going over to the wide receivers, DJ Moore, he's the thing that's going to propel Sam Darnold to have the better opportunity here in this game. He's number 4 on my rankings. And Sterling Shepard has been the bright spot as of recent. He's at number 18 on the rankings. Both teams need a tight end to step up. The Giants badly need Evan Ingram to step up. I think he will. He's number 13 on my rankings this week. And it looks like Carolina's badly missing Dan Arnold, who they traded away to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I got Ian Thomas at number 27 on the rankings. Looking at this game, I think there could be a tremendous opportunity for some defense here, but that would only be by, a little bit. I don't think either one of these teams are going to dominate the game defensively, but you can start both of these defenses if you wanted. I got Carolina at 6 and the Giants at 8. I know a lot of people stream defenses. I usually do that as well, so that's where we are with those guys. And believe it or not, the Giants and Carolina are both out there still on waiver wire, so you won't have a problem there. I got to go with the team that I just think is stronger, has a stronger players in Hubbard and DJ Moore. I'm going with the Panthers on the road.
Yeah, I think it's hard to not go with the Panthers in this, and Chuba Hubbard is the guy that I picked up. And what did I say back when I was drafting? I didn't do it in free agency. I did it back when I was drafting. And I made that note. I'm getting him because I don't trust that Christian McCaffrey's 100%. I don't trust that they're going to give him the ball all the time because you don't want to do that with a guy coming off of an injury, and the severity of it. I thought that maybe they would force him back. Maybe he wasn't ready to come back. And none of this has been proven wrong. Chuba Hubbard is a guy that I picked up because I believed that this day would come where Chuba would have to step up again, and that's exactly what he's doing. So, I like Chuba. I like who he is. I like what he can be. And I'm excited about what he's bringing to the table. At the same time, I pray and I hope for a speedy recovery to Christian McCaffrey because I don't like seeing anybody hurt, and I want everybody to live their dreams. Sam Darnold in this game, quarterback 2. Chuba Hubbard, I like him. I do. I think he's a running back 2, running back 3 for you this week. I like what he could bring to the table. He's playing the Giants. DJ Moore is a wide receiver 3 playing the Giants. Robbie Anderson is a wide receiver 3 as well. On the other side, for the Giants, there's really not a lot of anything that I like. Saquon's ankle has kept him out of practice, as Mike was talking about. Sterling Shepard's had some moments here. But really, fantasy value, I don't see much of any of it with the Giants. I think it lands on Carolina's side. I think it's with DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, and Chuba Hubbard, and some Sam Darnold as well. And I think Chuba Hubbard more than anybody. So I'm going to go with Carolina, and I'm going to tell you to play Chuba this week. You should definitely put him out there. With that being said, Mike, well, let's hop into our next game that we have. Cincinnati at Baltimore. What do you have for this?
Yeah, Baltimore's got that old man running back attack. We'll get to that in a second here. I'm looking at Cincinnati at 4-2. They look pretty strong. Looking at the Ravens, and Lamar Jackson just takes over a game. Lamar Jackson has more rushing attempts and more yards than some teams combined out there. He's definitely on top. So when a opposing linebacker comes out and calls you a running back playing quarterback, I wouldn't take that as an insult. I take that as a compliment because you're doing two jobs. But, as Lamar Jackson goes, so do the Ravens. There's a tremendous drop-off after that. I got Lamar Jackson number 3 on my rankings this week, and I got Joe Burrow number 12. I think Joe Burrow is going to be up and down, but I think he's going to be up. I think he's a player that can play up to the level of his competition. And I think the Baltimore defense has been suspect at times in the secondary this year, and they don't seem to be able to get to the quarterback with as much ease. So that will play right into Joe Burrow's hands. Looking at the running back situation here, this is a little bit different. You got Joe Mixon at number 7. And there's a tremendous drop-off. And on Baltimore, I don't know if I could start any of these guys, but you got 29 and 30-year-old guys in Le'Veon Bell. You got Devontae Freeman. You got Latavius Murray. Oh, and then you got Tyson Williams, who you've made a healthy scratch past couple weeks. So there's no telling what's going to happen. But the good news is, that's the way the team is built. They just need contributing factors from the running back attack. They don't need a horse. They don't need a Derrick Henry to succeed because of Lamar Jackson, and that's the beautiful thing with the Ravens. Looking at the wide receiver end, Marquise Brown, I got him at number 12. Every time I want to write off the receiving attack from the Ravens, Marquise Brown is there with a tremendous play. He had the drops one game, I know, but he got over that and he picked right back off. And Rashad Bateman's been taking the field as well. So Rashad Bateman is a guy that we're going to hear a lot about in the future. Not yet, but in the future here. And on the Cincinnati side for receiver, Jamar Chase, best deep ball receiver in the league right now. And that's just stats talking. You can go check it. He's a top 10 wide receiver. He's at number 8 on my rankings here. And then you got T. Higgins at 26. So there's definitely some targets for Joe Burrow to get the ball to. Looking at the tight ends, I really don't think I can start either tight end. Maybe in an emergency here I could do C.J. Uzomah or Mark Andrews. I got Mark Andrews at number 2 this week. He had a coming out party, but I'm wondering if he's not going to get shut back down this week. I hope that doesn't happen. But I got Mark Andrews at number 2 this week, but I had to kind of hold my nose doing it, if that makes any sense. So I still think he's going to be a valid target on the field. It's hit or miss. And the only reason why I have him at number 2 is Darren Waller's playing Philly and Kyle Pitts is playing Miami, and both those teams have been okay against the tight ends. I like the Ravens at home. I think they're going to roll again, kind of like they rolled up on those Chargers.
Yeah, I mean, the Ravens are in a world, and again, and I was listening this morning, just kind of seeing, hey, what are other people talking about, this morning? What are some thoughts? And I just go back to those days where I felt like I was on an island by myself with maybe one other person saying, hey, Lamar Jackson, he's a good player. Hey, Lamar Jackson, I covered him in, he's at Louisville. I really like him. Hey, Lamar Jackson's I think he's going to be okay in the NFL. Hey, I think Lamar Jackson's going to succeed. Hey, I think Lamar Jackson should start as a rookie, but what do I know? And, here is Lamar Jackson. Now everybody's, Lamar. And yeah, okay. Well, and, he's about to get paid. He's going to be the highest paid, quarterback. He's going to be the highest paid player in the NFL, blah, blah, blah. And, some of us saw his value. Some of us appreciated him. And, the bandwagon is, if this is the Oregon Trail, the bandwagon would have broken halfway through the water and everybody would have drowned to death because there's so many people jumping in it. But, I'm already on the other side of this thing because I didn't wait for the wagon in the Oregon Trail. I got my little kayak and I got around this river a couple of years ago. So I really like what Lamar Jackson brings to the table. Joe Burrow, I think, is worth the play in this game because I think they're going to be playing from behind. He's going to be throwing the ball. So I do like that. Joe Mixon is worth the play for you as well. Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Jamar Chase more than T. Higgins right now. Chase, I'd say, is running back or wide receiver 2. I'd say Higgins is a 3. Is kind of how I would look at this. And C.J. Uzomah, he's supposed to be finding his bag, finding his. I don't know. I like him. Put it to you like this: I put him in my starting lineup this week. So I think I have him and Dawson Knox in one of my leagues. I think Dawson's off this week, so I had to switch it, and I'm okay with putting C.J. out there than going and looking for somebody else. So there's a lot of fantasy value on Cincinnati. But on Baltimore's side of things, wow, Lamar Jackson, I love that. You know, if you call me a running back, well, I'm one of the best running backs in the league. Call me a quarterback, well, I'm one of the best leaders in the league, too. So if I'm Lamar Jackson, you know, like you said, you know, why take that as a knock? You're doing two jobs. I would, if I was Lamar Jackson, go, I'm doing two. You guys are not even doing half of one that are out there critiquing me. So, you know, Lamar, shout out to you, kudos to you, but you don't need to tell those people that because you need to pay those people no mind. And I think as Drake said, my failure to respond makes that you don't even exist. So, Lamar, keep doing you. Keep the outside noise outside because that's where it belongs by definition. Latavius Murray did not practice with an ankle injury. It's left him questionable. I hope he's okay. He comes from my beautiful Onondaga County, Onawanadanka over here, so spent a lot of time out here with us. And Devontae Freeman, believe it or not. How about this? Latavius Murray, Devontae Freeman, and Le'Veon Bell on the same team. Back in the day, people would have gone bonkers. This would have been your fantasy team. And now it's a reality. But Devontae's kind of washed up. Le'Veon Bell's kind of washed up. And Latavius Murray's hurt this week. But, you know, I picked him up a few weeks. So that puts Tyson Williams back in a good for you. I like that. And Marquise Brown, you don't want to write him off, but he's a wide receiver 3. Rashad Bateman, the rookie, still waiting on to see where he's going to fit in here. You got to play Mark Andrews, and you know ultimately the value's in Lamar Jackson, but getting him is getting multiple players like Mike alluded to. So let's go with Baltimore in this game. I'm not going to fight that one by any stretch of the imagination. I'm going with the Ravens. Philadelphia at Vegas. What do you got?
Yeah, it's going to be a great game, but this just in breaking news here, according to the Twitter meeting. Trail is now trending, so you're trending, Dan. Congratulations.
What happened? What did you say?
Philadelphia's Jalen Hurts.
No, wait, hold on a second. You cut out for a second. What did you say? What was trending?
Oregon Trail is currently trending.
Yeah, well, you know what, Mike? We bring it up here, and this is where we're at. So according to Twitter, let's go Oregon Trail, and it's not the only time it's been trending. So I will take full responsibility for that, and you know, you and I don't have dysentery right now, so that's good. So,
absolutely. Hey, I'm looking at the quarterbacks here, and Jalen Hurts. When I watch this cat play, I'm like, yeah, he's okay. Then he ends up with top 10 quarterback numbers, you know, in fantasy all the time. So he's a guy, he's like one of those technical boxers where he looks okay. He's not knocking everybody out, but he's scoring points, and he's outpointing people. And that's exactly what he's doing. I got him as the number 5 quarterback this week. I got Derek Carr a couple places behind him at number 8. Looking at the running back situation, Miles Sanders been a disappointment as far as the carries and so forth. And then even what he could do when he gets the ball, he's been dinged up as well. I got him ranked at number 13 on the rankings this week, and I got Josh Jacobs just above him at Kenyon Drake turned it on strong last week. I got him at 29 on the rankings. Looking at the wide receivers here, Devonta Smith has been doing a great job so far this year. He's still a rookie, though. I got him at number 23 on the rankings. And then on the other side of the ball, I got Hunter Renfrow right behind him. So a lot of these position rankings I have this week, these guys are all right next to each other. And that's what I like to see because I know this is going to be a competitive game. The difference maker in this game is going to definitely be Darren Waller. He's the machine. He's the guy they're looking to get the ball. He's the number 1 option all the time as far as targets on the team. But, you know, Philadelphia getting rid of Zach Ertz was the best thing for Dallas Goedert. He's just got to stay healthy because he's going to get the lion's share. He's going to have a few more looks. He's number 9 on my rankings this week. This is going to be a better game than people think, but I'm going to go with the Raiders at home.
Yeah, we had a question come in here. Johnson tonight or Gaskin Sunday is a question that we got here. So Dearness Johnson or Myles Gaskin?
Wow, you know, that's a great question, but I have to go with Dearness Johnson just simply on a volume thing because I don't think Myles Gaskin has really taken off yet this year. And according to my rankings, he's better by 5 places. Dearness Johnson at 16 and Myles Gaskin at 21.
Yeah, I'm going to have to – I mean, you think about this. Dearness is getting an opportunity where, you know, these guys are typically sharing it, and now he has the lion's share of it. There's no Hunt and there's no Chubb, so now Dearness is going to get a bunch of it. So Dearnest is the pick from the both of us, and that's going out to Michael. So thank you for your question. We appreciate it very much. So continuing on here, and you went with Vegas in this game too, right, Mike?
Yes.
So going with the Vegas Raiders to get back to this matchup. And if you have questions, send them in. Happy to answer them. You can send them to mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt, where you can join for free and become a member and message us. Make sure to click the subscribe button on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt when you're asking us questions there as well. And, of course, on Facebook, hit the follow button at wakeupcalldt on Facebook, or facebook.com/wakeupcalldt if you go through it that way. So make sure you find us on all those avenues. Happy to answer your questions in the moment or after the show as well. Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Hurts, he obviously has value. He does. I think he's a quarterback 2 in my book for this. Miles Sanders and Kenneth Gainwell. Kenneth Gainwell, somewhat underwhelming. He's a rookie. He's, coming out of Memphis. Another Memphis guy. Mentioned those a lot. And that's because they've been very successful in the NFL in recent history. Miles Sanders is worth the play as a running back 2. Kenneth Gainwell is a low-key flex, like a running back 4, I would say. Devonte Smith, wide receiver 2. And Dallas Goedert, it's India for me that they've gotten rid of Zach Ertz. And here's Dallas Goedert, who is on the COVID-19 list. So that gives you Jack Stoll if Goddard isn't able to come back. But I would say Miles Sanders and then Devontae and then, probably Jalen and Kenneth Gainwell in that order. I would kind of look at it that way. On the other side for the Raiders, Derek Carr, he's playing Philadelphia's defense. I think Derek is going to be able to do some good things here. I think, for you, he might be your backup this week where there's a lot of teams off. So it could behoove you to play him in this matchup. I think he's a quarterback, a low-end 1 this week. Josh Jacobs is worth the play as well, but he's a running back 2 due to his inconsistency. Henry Ruggs is a limited participant with a knee injury. Watch that. Hunter Renfrow has come up here with Bryan Edwards injured. So Hunter Renfrow could be a nice sneaky flex for you at the wide receiver position this week because of that. And Darren Waller, hard to keep off. He's worth the play as well. And I'm going to pick the Raiders at home in this matchup too, and agree with Mike on this one. So we'll go there with that. Next game up that we have to do here is Detroit at the Rams. This is the trade game. This is the trade bowl. We have Detroit, who has Jared Goff and 172 picks from the Rams, and the Rams, who have Matt Stafford. The Rams are on good footing. Detroit is trying to get one toe on the ground. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, this is a weird situation. This is like if Matt Stafford was, divorced, and all of a sudden now his ex is coming over to his house for a party, and she's coming as a +1. He didn't really invite her, but she's coming as a +1, and Matt Stafford's like, I really don't want her here, but this is what's in front of me. She's going to see how well I'm doing after she's gone, and then she comes to the party like, wow, she don't look too good. She looks like she's got some problems. The Detroit Lions have some problems. They can't seem to finish a game. That's their problem. I see streaks of brilliance. I see stuff that can happen. It's just not now. And that's why the Rams are a 15-point home favorite in this one. That's a huge number. There's a number bigger this week, and we're going to get to that in a minute. But looking at the Rams, Matt Stafford, like you said, he's number 6 on my rankings. I got to go way down in the 20s, at 22 for Jared Goff. So that's where the biggest difference is. But that's because of the receivers. We'll get to that in a backs are going to almost cancel each other out, with Daryl Henderson at number 4 on my ranking, Deandre Swift at number 6. Jamal Williams has been almost a non-factor all year here. And, then you go over to the receiver end here, and this is the biggest difference. They got Cooper Kupp at number 2 on the rankings, and then I got Robert Woods at 15. I got to go way down for Detroit. I mean, if your top receivers are Khalif Raymond and Amon-Ra St. Brown, you got problems. And they know they have problems. They're going to try to get the ball to Tyler Higbee, tight ends ranked number 11 on my rankings this week. And then in Detroit, T.J. Hawkinson, Mr. Consistent. He's always in the top 5, usually at around number 5. T.J. Hawkinson, again, ranked 5 this week. And I don't see how the Lions win this game this week. And with that being said, of course, they're going to be the upset of the week, and everybody will be calling me a loser. So, no, I think the Rams are going to go ahead and win this game, handle business at home.
Yeah, I think Matt Stafford fan and a Detroit Lion fan, Johnny, who is listening right now and is a devout supporter of the show that I appreciate so much. And we built a fantastic friendship from meeting in this world of entertainment. So a big shout out to Johnny, and a shout out to Johnny and Aaron, as well as Jean-Pierre and the whole family, mom, stepmom. And I do want to show some love to my nieces and my nephews, Dakota, Sequoia, Noah, and Ariana, and to the 2 dogs. So a big old family with Johnny, and hope you're all doing well. I think Johnny's going to pick the Rams in this game too. Detroit, I said it, Detroit's got 100 picks and Jared Goff. If it didn't work, you try him for a year. And if it doesn't work, guess what you do? You take those picks and you get your franchise quarterback. And that's what I think at this point they should do. So moving forward from here, Deandre Swift is hurt. He's limited with a groin injury. Not something that you want to see. And then you have Jamal Williams. Jamal Williams has some flex value this week because of that injury. And then T.J. Hawkinson, he's hurt as well. He has a knee injury and has left him questionable. He does have some value, but not a ton on a team that's reeling. On the other side, Matt Stafford. And he's playing the team that let him go. So I think Matt Stafford, Daryl Henderson, Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Van Jefferson could be a good flex for you this week. Tyler Higbee, all worth the play. The value is on the Rams side in droves, and I'm picking the Rams to more than handle Detroit in this matchup. Houston and Arizona, this is trade as well. So you got the battle of a Trevor trade, and then you got the David Johnson, DeAndre Hopkins, one of the dumbest trades in the history of all sports. If they were all put together in a giant pool, water polo, cricket, football, basketball, volleyball, pickleball, if you put it all together, one of the worst trades. And one of the only, they say there's no sure things in life. To me, this is one of the only sure things. Sent packing as GM and head coach of the team for Houston. What are your thoughts on Houston at Arizona? With DeAndre Hopkins in Arizona riding high, flying high, I should say, and the Houston Texans still can't seem to figure out what they're going to do with their quarterback.
It's like the last game with the team that got the better player as of now, as of where we are in time now, the better player in the trade. And this is that other line I was alluding to, 17.5 points. It's huge. If you have a 13 or 12-point line in the NFL, that's huge. That just goes to show you the 2 different directions that these franchises are headed in, just like the Rams and the Lions, the Cardinals, 6-0. The Texans managed to win one. They're at 1-5. So these are definitely 2 teams headed in the wrong direction for all the wrong reasons. But they started quarterback. You look at the better quarterback on the field, and that's Kyler Murray. And that is what it is. He started out as a better quarterback. He's got a system that was made for him. They found us. The coach comes in, lets go of their quarterback who was a top pick the year before, and then he just jettisons him, and then he looks like, you're like, wow, I don't know, should he be doing this? And then Kyler Murray comes in, blows up, and then Josh Rosen is gone. I don't even know where he is right now. So Kyler Murray, number 2 on my rankings this week. On the other side of the ball, well, you got Davis Mills. He's a rookie. They're saying Tyrod could be back this week, and we talked about the Desean Watson thing. You're not going to see him dressed as a Texan anytime soon. Might be a Dolphin by the end of the week here. Looking at the running back situation, Houston's got a problem at running back. Houston, we have a problem. If Mark Ingram is your lead running back and he's ranked number 35 on my rankings this week, you got a problem. But looking on the other side of the ball here, looking at Arizona, Chase Edmonds and James Conner, I figured this thing out. They're a formidable 1-2 punch. Chase Edmonds, number 14 on my rankings. James Conner, number 19. And then the big difference, of course, is at receiver. I think the one guy who can peak in this game at receiver is Brandon Cooks. I got him That doesn't mean I think he's the best receiver on the field. That's more situational play and fantasy football ends, because he's the only receiver on the team in my mind's eye. But then I look on the other side, and I got three receivers all on the same team bunched together at 32, 33, and at 36, and that's Christian Kirk, A.J. Green, and Rondell Moore, respectively. And then on the tight end front, I'm finding it hard to start a tight end. Zach Ertz is just new to the building. Maybe they'll let him show up. Maybe they'll give him a red zone look. I got him ranked number 16. Nobody from Houston. Maybe a Jordan Akins, but that's at 28. So you'd have to be really desperate for that play in a super deep league. I'm going to go with the Cardinals to win at home.
Yeah, I mean, the Cardinals, they won in the trade, and they're going to win in this game. Davis Mills, I'm happy he's getting a play. Third-round pick out of Stanford, so I'm happy to see him out there. Besides that, Mark Ingram, he's had some moments, but underwhelming. Brandon Cooks, I agree. If you're going to put anybody out there, he's a wide receiver for you. Not a 1, not a 2, but if you need some depth on your roster, there you go. Kyler Murray, yes. Chase Edmonds' shoulder injury has left him questionable. If he's able to go, him and James Conner have value. And James Conner scored a couple times when they played against Jacksonville when I was at that game. So, I think this season. So I think, for these two guys, they have flex value for you. They don't have a running back or one or two value at this point. DeAndre Hopkins is worth the play. Christian Kirk, I like him as a wide receiver too. And then, A.J. Green, he's got some moments too here. This is a guy that could have been out there in your waiver wire or free agency. Not a bad pickup, again, for depth at wide receiver. And Zach Ertz is now their starting tight end. And I think Ertz is going to have some value here. So looking forward to what he could bring to the table. And I think Zach Ertz is a sneaky play for you as a sleeper low-end tight end 1 this week. The values with Arizona, I'm going with the Arizona Cardinals. I don't think that anybody's going to fight anybody on that. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. When we come back, Mike and I will wrap up this week of Fantasy Football Advice, Week 7 in the 2021-2022 NFL season inside of the Fantasy Football Power Hour. Greg said there's been some crazy lopsided pickleball trades that have gone down as of late. And yes, it is, sir. Pickleball. Dill just got traded for Gherkin, and I don't know what's going to happen next, but I'm ready, and I'm watching the waiver wire every second of every minute, including today. So we'll take a step aside inside the Cafe Kubal studios. We'll be back right after this fast break as Mike and I bring you the remaining 3 games, a trio of games here inside of Fantasy Football and your advice where sports meets life. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And, of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground. Because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying. In the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or, of course, the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to K9 Campground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout Central and Upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. As a patient, what do we want? To be cared for, to be listened to, and to have someone walk us through the process on our path to victory. Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics does all of those things beautifully, with Dr. Mark Petropoli leading the team on 791 West Genesee Street in Skaneateles, New York, located minutes from beautiful Skaneateles Lake. Whatever your injury may be from head to toe, preventative care, rehab, physical therapy, laser therapy, and surgery are all available at Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, where they care about us, they listen to us, and they understand that everyone's path to victory is a little bit different. Let them help you on yours by calling 315-685-7544 to make your appointment today. That's 315-685-7544. And find out more information at victorysportsmedicine.com. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. Happy to be here with you inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios, and we are also inside of the Fantasy Football Power Hour, not one of, not a, but the Fantasy Football Power Hour. By the way, folks, this is the beauty of doing live broadcasts. I have the blessing opportunity to speak with you today, which I'm very excited about doing, about the fact that the American Athletic Conference has officially announced the addition of 6 universities. The Board of Directors and Commissioner Mike Oresco announced today that 6 universities have had their applications for membership in the American approved by the conference's 9 continuing members. The 6 new institutions whose membership in the American will begin on a date to be determined are the University of Alabama at Birmingham, Florida Atlantic University, the University of North Carolina at Charlotte, as well as the University of North Texas, Rice University, and the University of Texas, San Antonio. So, looking at all of these, now the 6 universities will join the 9 continuing members: East Carolina, Memphis, Navy, that's football only, South Florida, SMU, Temple, Tulane, Tulsa, and Wichita State, which is basketball and Olympic sports only, to bring the American's membership to 15 schools. The American will compete as a 14-team league in football for the first time ever, and in men's and women's basketball, and will probably more than likely go back to divisions from what I'm taking from this. I will be on the call today at noon. I told Mike I was going to take a little nap for my birthday. I guess I'm not taking a nap right now as the American Athletic Conference. And that's, Mike Oresco was supposed to be on the show a couple days ago, and that man told me he was in some meetings. And he's like, Dan, I can't step out of this meeting. As you understand, things are a little bit crazy right now. And he said, but as soon as we get some life here and whatnot, I'll get back to you. Well, Mike Oresco owes me a phone call, and I got to make that announcement on today's show. So I am very, very excited, and you can be sure that my butt's going to be on there. Isn't it funny how God works, these little God incidences? The American Athletic that I've been covering since before it had a logo and a name made a historical decision to become bigger than it's ever been, and it was announced on my birthday. So, October 21st, 2021 will always stand as a special moment for the American. which is a special moment for me in my connection to the American and my connection to Commissioner Mike Oresco. And so that's really cool. What a birthday gift, you know? It's funny, my parents were like, what do you need? I'm like, I don't need anything. I got everything I need. So, well, I just got some really cool news on my birthday, so that's pretty awesome. And I'm very excited for the American for that. And, of course, there's going to be plenty of conversation coming up on that. You can be sure of that. So, with that being said, Mike, let's flip here. We got 3 more games to do in the fantasy football world, so let's head there. Chicago at Tampa Bay. What do you got?
Yeah, I like this game. I like this game for all the wrong reasons. Look, this is a daily fantasy play. You want to play the Bucs defense. A lot of times people go off cheap on daily, and they're like defense is an afterthought. No, you get points for defense too, and I would play the Cardinals, the Rams, or the Bucs, and I'm leaning toward the Bucs because it wasn't just a couple weeks ago that Justin Fields in his first start got sacked 9 times, and Tampa's got a stout defensive front. I think they could almost duplicate that if 9-9 is a large number, but I think it's possible in this game. The Bucs are 5-1, the Bears are 3-3. Justin Fields has looked not as good as everybody thought he would, but he's a rookie. This is the NFL. It's going to take time. Even Peyton Manning led the league in interceptions in his rookie year. Look at this game, and I got Tom Brady number 4, 23. Like a Justin Fields that has come on strong. He's number 10 on my rankings this week. And on the other side of the ball, they've been struggling without Damien Williams. Khalil Herbert stepped in, but he's not Damien Williams, and he's definitely not David Montgomery. So they're hoping to get some of these guys back here. But right now, Khalil Herbert's the highest ranked running back on my rankings so far. Pay attention to the injury reports at the end of the year. But Khalil Herbert, end of the year, listen to me, end of the week, see who practices Friday. That's going to be the key. Khalil Herbert, number 27 on my rankings here. Going over to the other side of the ball, wide receiver, this is where the biggest separation is. The Bucs have 3 great receivers who would be number 1 on anybody else's team, and they're all on the same team. Of course, I'm talking about Mike Evans, who's at 14 on my list this week, Antonio Brown, who's at 16, and then Charles Godwin at 19. So, and don't forget, they had Gronk, but Gronk's been dinged up. So you look at the wide receivers. O.J. Howard's come on strong as of late, but Cameron Brate is a sneaky pick here for you. I got both of those guys ranked way low this week, though, at 24 and 25 on the rankings. Looking for the Chicago receiver who's going to light it up. You're kind of struggling a little bit. Got to go a little further down on the list here. Daryl Mooney at 27. Allen Robinson, I don't know what's happened to you, my man. You used to be, no matter who the quarterback was, I could count on you to get wide receiver 1 numbers. I can't anymore. Right now you're at 28 on the rankings, behind Darnell Mooney. So tell me what's wrong with that picture. And also the best tight end on the team, Cole Kmet, at number 5. I got to go with the Bucs at home on this one.
Yeah, I'm going with the Bucs too. It's Tom Brady and what Tom Brady is doing. This team is special, and Chicago, Justin Fields, I'm excited to watch him play. I'm excited to see how he is in this matchup. The Bucs defense is strong. I think the Bucs defense is worth the play in this one. Allen Robinson is ankle injuries left him questionable. Darnell Mooney is questionable with a groin. A lot of groin injury issues and hamstrings going on right now, which you don't like to see. Other nagging things that aren't necessarily, just pop it back into place and move on. So Marquise Goodwin, who used to be with the Niners, he's out there right now as a potential threat. I think he's a flex for you this week. He's like a wide receiver 4, but he could be a good flex. I think Justin Fields is going to find him out. He may find him out there. Cole Kmet, I would say, is a tight end 2. And, Khalil Herbert, I picked him up in one of the leagues just to have him because of the fact that there's been injuries all over the place. So he's a low-end running back 2, high-end 3, but he's playing this Bucs defense. I think the Bucs defense is worth the play. Tom Brady's worth the play. Leonard Fournette's worth the play. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin as well. And Gronk is hurt with a rib injury. O.J. is hurt with an ankle injury. And so Cameron Brate is not a bad pickup for you if he's out there in your league. So I like that. And with that being said, Mike, we got just a couple more Sunday Night Football. And for those waiting for Eric Kroom to talk about Syracuse football, he's coming up in just a couple moments. Indianapolis at San Fran for Sunday night. What do you got?
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty good game to watch as well, and for all the wrong reasons, unfortunately, here. I'm looking at San Fran. Jimmy Garoppolo is going to make the start again. Trey Lance dinged up. It looked like Jimmy Garoppolo was going to be out a little bit longer, but it looks like he's coming back a little sooner because of the Trey Lance situation. So Jimmy Garoppolo is your start there, but he's number 16 on my rankings. And then Carson Wentz is right behind him at number 17, so not a lot of value at quarterback in this game here. Looking at the running back situation, well, there's not a lot of value there either in my mind. I'm struggling to say, I got to start this guy. Well, that guy usually Jonathan Taylor, but I expect him to be top 5 player. He's been top 10 player. He's at number 9 on my rankings this week, and San Fran's just got a mixed bag of troops. Looks like Elijah Mitchell is going to continue to put on a strong performance at 22 on my rankings. Looking at the wide receivers, Michael Pittman is going to be the dominant wide receiver. They've had some injuries there, and he's going to be the guy. He's going to be the target. So that's why you got to play that guy. And looking at the other side of the ball, Deebo Samuel, he always seems to snap up a good game. He has almost like a roller coaster chart. If you ever look at stocks, you see when they go up and down, you want to buy low, sell high. This is where he is. He didn't have as good of a game last week, so he's due for a blowout game this week. I got him number 5 on my rankings. They missed George Kittle. There's no surprise there. Ross Dwelly is not George Kittle. And on the other side of the ball, maybe a Mo Alley Cox at number 12 on my rankings here. I got to go with San Fran at home.
Yeah, this is not, I think about Steve Young and Peyton Manning, and I'm like, oh man, like those days with Indy, with Peyton and knowing, Steve Young and Joe Montana and San Fran, just a different world back then. And now it's kind of, it's not that there's not talent there. There is. It just doesn't feel the same. It doesn't feel like a Sunday night football game. But I think it'll be good. Carson Wentz, quarterback 2. Jonathan Taylor's worth the play. Michael Pittman is a flex guy for you, wide receiver 3 or 4. And Jack Doyle and Mo Alley Cox, it's kind of a toss-up. So I don't think that's a great situation. The other side of it, San Fran, Jimmy Garoppolo and Trey Lance both hurt. But like Mike said, if Jimmy comes back here, then I don't know if they're going to go to Tom Tupa, the old punter of the Jets. I mean, they don't have necessarily another place to go to here. So where will they go? Gosh forbid they have to, and hopefully they don't. But because of both quarterbacks being dinged up, not a good situation. Elijah Mitchell and Trey Sermon are flex guys for you. I don't think anybody's shown themselves to be the guy. We know George Kittle's injured, so Ross Dwelly's out there. Deebo Samuel, he's another flex. I think there's a lot of flex action going on here with this, more flex than the than the current generation, and so that we have out there. So more flex than a millennial. But I don't really want to pick either one of these teams. I really don't want to pick either one. I guess I'm gonna go with San Francisco at home. Because they're at home. But I don't genuinely don't want to have to pick either one of these teams. New Orleans at Seattle, Mike, what do you got?
Yeah, this is going to be a good game. I think I'll just go ahead and make my pick right now. I think Seattle's going to surprise people. They're the dog in this game by 4.5 points, but I think Seattle's going to win this game. I'll tell you why here in just a minute. I'm looking at the rankings here. Jameis Winston at number 19 on my ranking. Geno Smith. Yes, Geno Smith, Russell Wilson's still going to be dinged up. He's at 24, so he's not necessarily going to light it up, all right? But Alec Collins has been lighting it up since he's been taking over that role from Chris Carson, who's dinged up. Alex Collins, number 33 on my rankings, but Alvin Kamara is the dynamic player. The problem is I think Seattle's going to try to keep him off the field, but I still have Alvin Kamara at number 2 on my rankings this week. Looking at the wide receivers, this is where you're going to see the biggest difference. Michael Thomas is trying to get back for this game. I don't think he's going to make it back. Marquez Callaway will lead the drive for the Saints at 37 on the rankings. But then you take a look at the other side of the ball. Yeah, Tyler Lockett, he's at 22 on my rankings, and DK Metcalf at number 11. So I think those guys are going to make something happen. I think they're going to make Geno Smith look okay in this game. Let's face it, Geno Smith is definitely not Russell Wilson. And at the tight end position, I really don't have anybody I can count on there. So it's almost like a write-off in this game. I'm going to look for Seattle to surprise some people and beat the Saints. And I'm going to predict that Jameis Winston is going to throw 1 pick six at least.
Yeah, I mean, this Seattle situation, I mean, watching what they did to Pittsburgh makes me think, what would Russell have done that, Pitt was playing up against a backup quarterback in Geno Smith and almost lost the game. So, had to play overtime and had to kick a field goal. So not a great situation for them. But also, what does it say about Seattle? Seattle, I've constructively criticized Geno. And now I look at Geno and I say to myself, hey, you know what? This guy's done some good things. Jacob Eason, though, he gets let go from the Colts and Seattle picks him right up. So that's kind of like a little notice on Geno Smith there, too. Alex Collins is on the injury report. He's questionable. If he's able to play, remember him from Baltimore when you didn't know who he was? He did some good things against the Pitt defense, and he's done some good things in Seattle in general, and he did some good things in Baltimore. So if he's able to play, he's a good running back 3 for you. DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett are worth the play for you. DK getting more love than Tyler Lockett, but I still wouldn't rule out Tyler Lockett. Gerald Everett, Will Dissly, they both get involved. It's hard to pick one of these gentlemen. I would say they're both tight end 2s at this point. And, Will Dissly got his first touchdown of the season this past week, and that was 6 weeks in. So, and then at the quarterback situation, I'd stay away from with Seattle. New Orleans, Alvin Kamara, obviously worth the play. Devin Azigbo used to play for Jacksonville. He's now the number 2 guy behind Alvin Kamara. You may get to see him out there a little bit there. He's a guy to watch on the waiver wire or free agency. Marquez Callaway, another guy in a deep flex league. Adam Trotman, Juwan Johnson's been getting a lot of looks. Hard to pick here. I would go Juwan more than Adam if I had to. If you get to play 2 tight ends, maybe he's a guy to put out there for you. Kenny Stills is there now in New Orleans. So you're just trying to find anybody. Chris Hogan, who used to play for the Patriots. Ty Montgomery, who's been to a bunch of different places. They're literally just pulling everybody that they possibly can because they're dealing with a ton of injuries, unfortunately. And that's going to put me in a position to pick Seattle in this game that I think has more fantasy value. So, with that being said, that is Week 7. Mike Sofka, Fantasy Football. We're back to our normal time next week, Wednesday, 9:45 to 11 a.m., the extended Fantasy Football Power Hour, proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub, where you're watching all the games, 3680 Milton Avenue in Camillus, New York, NFL ticket and all the good stuff, 315-487-2222 for takeout and delivery. You can also call for catering information. That's 315-487-2222. And if you want to rent out their party room with their giant screen, so make sure that you call that number, 315-487-2222, and see him on 3680 Milton Avenue, Camillus. Mike is here with us from Hall of Fame Fantasy Football.com, YouTube, the Winning Fantasy Football YouTube channel, and, of course, our Winning Fantasy Football group. Mike, as always, I appreciate it. I thank you for your time and for ad-libbing this week to Thursday. We'll be back on Wednesdays this coming week, which I'm very excited about, and I look forward to talking with you then.
Sounds great, Dan. Thanks. And again, happy birthday.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Take care. That coming from Mr. Mike Sofka, and I'm very happy to talk with Mike. So I appreciate you all for being a part of this video. We're going to end this video and start a new one. And so we're going to take a step aside for a fast break, and then we'll bring on Eric Kroom right after this. So for those of you that are here with us on our YouTube and Facebook channels, we will be switching after this fast break, and Eric Kroom will be coming up with us. So very excited to share that with you. In just actually, you know what? I think we'll just jump into Kroom right now. We might as well just jump into Kroomy here. So we're going to end this video, and we'll be back momentarily. And we have Eric Kroom here with us in the wings here, waiting on for a second. He's going to be joining us in just a moment here on Wake Up Call with Dan.